Now, there are other ways. We've got a free trade agreement with the UK.
Yes.
99% of our goods will go duty-free to the UK. Maybe we should set up a thriving business with some good Indian entrepreneur in the UK who will buy lots and lots of Indian goods, repackage them as made in UK and ship them to America.
So
that might be a solution.
I
don't know, but I'm just saying there are ways in which others will get around it. This is, by the way, what many in Dubai are doing, selling Indian goods to Pakistan, which the Pakistanis won't import if it says made in India. So they're importing from India to Dubai, packaging them and sending them off to Pakistan as made in the UAE. We might do that to the Americans if they want it. They'll pay more than they would otherwise pay if they got it directly. But at least we'll do our exports under duty-free arrangements.
Mr. Tharoor, you've worked there substantially. You've obviously seen the American style of diplomacy. What do you think? What do you think has gone wrong? Why is Trump angry with us?
I can't imagine he's angry with us. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there may be certain...
He's bullying us.
Yeah, I mean, his style is that way. I don't think that's particularly specific to us. You saw how he treated Mr. Zelensky not too long ago. He has a certain style, which in all fairness is unusual to say the least and idiosyncratic to put it mildly. There is no other world leader who in a public diplomatic sort of statement would say such undiplomatic things than him. But he does it, and now we have to learn to find our own way of coping with it. My serious view is that there may be some very petty individual considerations involved there that you and I may not be able to fully relate to. I mean, for example, perhaps when he made that claim about having brought peace to India and Pakistan, perhaps instead of flatly saying he never called us and we didn't, he didn't make
the Prime Minister saying no to it is something which upset him?
I don't think the Prime Minister was wrong in laying the facts out.
No, but do you think that upset him?
But I'm saying perhaps one thing we could have said is, we didn't need persuading Mr. President, but if you persuaded the Pakistanis, thank you very much for doing a favor to the world. Something like that. I mean, he wants flattery. And it's possible that we have not been sufficiently flattering in our approach to him. The Pakistanis have played that game, as you've seen, by nominating him for a Nobel Peace Prize and so on. So it's possible that he did call the Pakistanis, he did press them. And that America told the Pakistanis, we don't want you escalating this, we don't want you reacting. Because you remember, the war ended essentially with our blasting their 11 air bases. And the next morning they called us and said, let's end this thing. Maybe after we hit the air bases, maybe the Pakistanis were contemplating a very irresponsible reaction. And maybe the Americans told the Pakistanis, don't do this. And maybe that's why Mr. Trump thinks he stopped the war, because if he hadn't pressed the Pakistanis, maybe they would have attacked. I'm just guessing. You and I are not privy, and nobody in India is privy to the conversation.
He feels that the
with
Nobel
the
Prize is slipping out. Is that the thing? I'm going to ask you two quick questions because I know you're in a tearing hurry. The fact is that we have also reached out to other countries, like the Brazilian president calling up the Prime Minister. Tough messaging that we are not going to opt out of the BRICS. Russian oil, Ajit Doval is there. Mr. Putin is supposed to come here next year. Prime Minister, of course, is going ahead with his pre-scheduled SCO summit. You think these are very strong messaging which is going in from our country, our government, to Donald Trump?
Look, we have made it very clear that we have options. And I think the Americans should understand that. They can't take us for granted and kick us around. We're not a supplicant state. We are a country with our own pride, our own self-respect, but also our own place in the world. We are the largest country population-wise. We are the fourth largest in terms of dollar terms of the economy, third largest in purchasing power parity. We are a country to be reckoned with. People are interested in our market. People are interested in our goods. I don't see that we need to feel in any way so hopelessly vulnerable that we have to surrender on everything. At the same time, I believe in good negotiation. There's always give and take. There are some points you can give. I'm not saying we just have to stick here and say our way or the highway. But nor can they say our way or the highway. There has to be give and take. There has to be mutual respect. And on that basis only can we advance. If it doesn't work, yes, we have options. We not only have sent the signal of the Prime Minister announcing a visit to Beijing at the end of the month, which was, as you know, announced in the wake of this kind of behavior. But on top of that, I think Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has cancelled his visit to the US, which would have actually set the seal on some major American arms purchases. I think we are going to give the Americans a message. Don't think that there won't be a price to pay, that you can just kick us and we'll just take it lying down and come begging to you. You know, we are not Ukraine. I mean, we are not some small country. I'm sorry. If this happens, it doesn't matter. We'll find some other place we can buy missiles from.
And you don't think the Prime Minister should call him up at all?
Look, what they're doing at that level between heads of state and government is their business. I'm not the one to advise on that. All I can say is at the governmental level, there is a process, and that process is going on. We must conduct that process. Our negotiators must act with courage as well as confidence, knowing that the nation has their back, that where they can make concessions, the nation will understand. Where they cannot make concessions, the nation will back them if we have to walk away.
Okay, finally, many people in the opposition parties are criticizing and calling it a failed foreign policy or a faulty foreign policy. Would you agree with that?
Look, I mean, there are very many things that people can say. Right now, I'm more focused on the fact that we have, let's face it, a crisis facing us. We are in a situation at the moment when a market that accounts for about $90 billion of exports for India is suddenly going to be severely depleted in 3 weeks' time, barring some sort of miraculous progress, which we hope is happening, but we don't know is happening. These negotiations are going on, understandably, behind closed doors. Now, I feel that the time at this stage is to back our negotiators to do a good job. By the way, the negotiators are part of the Commerce Ministry, not even the Foreign Ministry. So, I mean, let's understand that there are processes here. Let's see what comes out of all this before we come to any judgments. In my own view, India must know where it stands. We must be anchored in our own certitudes. We will go this far and no further. We will accept this and not that. We will have these red lines and we will have that flexibility. That kind of approach is what a self-respecting nation should have. I believe that's the kind of mandate with which our negotiators have gone. I hope so. And I certainly hope they will conduct themselves in a way that Indians can be proud of whatever comes out of the process, including possibly a failure. But they should go now and negotiate as Indians, as proud, self-respecting Indians.